Morning, Simon.
Good morning, Amyr. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
Good, all very well. So what's been happening this week?
Oh gosh, there's always news, isn't there? There's always a new crisis du jour for us to deal with in the finance space. I tell you what I found really interesting this week. On Monday, Tuesday, there was a lot of news around investors trying to go back into the market after the very positive news that came out of Pfizer and the coronavirus vaccine, which is completely against all that good financial planning would tell people to do. And in fact, the interesting thing about it was people weren't able to go back into the market on a high because all the platforms crashed. They basically crashed from all the day traders and amateur investors trying to time the market, which is something that we're vehemently against when it comes to our financial planning philosophy, right?
Absolutely. And when you say go back into the market, that's clear because they've come out of the market. And so many of them, as we know, came out of the market earlier on in this year in April, May, and they came out of the market after the markets had dropped. And now they're trying to get back into the market after the markets have largely recovered.
Absolutely. So, and as the New York Times sketch artist Carl Richards says, that basically is a buy high, sell low, repeat until broke.
This happens billions. There are billions of pounds flow out. There are billions of pounds flow back into the market. So there ends up being a massive disparity between what the markets end up returning and what the individual investors end up receiving. Because, of course, every time they trade, there are costs associated with that. And if you're selling at a low and buying at a high, that's just a recipe for disaster. And what these folks lack, of course, is a financial plan.
And I think that's a really important point, Simon, because this year we're celebrating 30 years as Holland, Hahn and Wills. So for decades, we've seen this. For decades, we've seen this behavior, and we've seen people be able to correct that behavior by pivoting and focusing on their financial plan rather than just solely on their investments without any plan to back it up. But I think a lot of people just haven't had the opportunity to be exposed to what a financial plan actually is. And you and I talk about this all the time. And I know part of the reason around this series, these fireside chats that we're recording, is for people to get to see what you and I just talk about in the office. And perhaps that will inspire them or just give them a bit of curiosity around, okay, what is this financial planning thing? And why is it important that it comes before I pick and choose any investments?
Absolutely. So shall we share the screen just for a moment, just to maybe put a bit of meat on the bones here? So if I share my screen, so can you see that, Amyr?
Absolutely, yeah.
So as you know, that's just a basic balance sheet for a demonstration, being the name of the client. And as we can see at the top, we've got assets from investments, including ISAs. We've got bank accounts, we've got pensions, we've got their property, and we've got any debts being mortgages, in this case, car payments as well. And we also have any employments that come in, and we also have expenditures. Now, did you want me to explain a little bit more about how this works, or would you like to?
I think it's interesting you've started at that point, Simon, because I know this is really basic, and a lot of our clients, prospective clients and viewers, will obviously have a good understanding of their balance sheet, so their assets and liabilities, and their income and expenditure. So folks watching might think, really, is that where you start? Well, absolutely, that's where we start, because that's what before we talk about investments, talk about putting money away for your future or for particular goals, we need to have an understanding of where you're starting from.
Exactly, your starting position.
Absolutely, and having that balance sheet, which you shared with us there, assets versus liability, and having also the income versus expenditure clearly stated out before we even talk about investments, just allows us to assess the situation as is.
As is, exactly. And then, of course, we're talking in some detail about their future plans, their aspirations, the things they want to achieve in life, the things that they definitely don't want to have to suffer. And what this helps us to start doing is understanding what their future requirements will be and how well served their assets and their investments will be to provide for their future lifestyle. And as we can see here, we've just got a basic timeline which shows from where the client is now right up until, and we assume, a rather enthusiastic age of 100. We assume everyone pops their clogs on their 100th birthday.
And it's funny because every time you and I have this conversation with clients, a lot of them will turn around and say, come on, Amyr, I'm not going to live until 100. To which I turn around and say, okay, well, tell me then, when are you going to live till? And that very quickly shifts the conversation. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, great. Let's run it until age 100. Because if we do have any financial concerns on the latter part of that graph, you can think about them today, decades before it ever becomes a problem.
Exactly. And what we're building in here is, well, there are three basic issues when it comes to future planning that realistically we don't know. We don't know what future growth rates will be. We know what historic rates have been, we can make projections, but we don't know, hand on heart, what future investment rates will be. We don't know what inflation will be going forwards. And then the client can't tell us the day in which they're going to die. Now, if we knew all those three, financial planning would be very easy. So we've got to build in some slack into the system, a buffer, as it were.
Yeah, and I like that a lot because as soon as people start seeing this timeline of events that they can see coming up in the short term, in the medium term, and maybe even some of those events that they'll like to discuss with us in the longer term. I mean, viewers will be able to notice there at this particular demonstration client's age 87, there's a marker in the sand there saying nursing home, nursing care, my apologies. Now, look, the conversations typically go around this subject. They might have had experience with their parents going into nursing care, and they'd like us to simulate what the cost of that would mean for their finances at that stage in their life. So,
absolutely,
hopefully viewers are now starting to get an understanding of what we mean by financial planning and why it's the bit that comes before investing. We're building a picture here. We're building a picture of a client's life. And as you said, Simon, how their assets and their future income through, say, pensions or businesses or buy-to-lets, how that all can fund that lifestyle throughout quite a long period of time.
Absolutely. Well, as Carl Richards again put in one of his many cartoons, it's the triangle, the pyramid, and it's a little bit like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is the very bottom, the foundation is the plan, then it's the process, and only then is it the product on top. And by product, of course, we mean investments. So absolutely, when we're talking to clients, once we've established what their desires and needs are, of course, we can take their balance sheet and we can take their income and expenditure and we can project this onto a series of future potential scenarios as to how they may end up. Now, using this particular bit of software, we make some sensible, some robust assumptions with regards to what we believe inflation will be, what we think growth rates on various assets will be, and as we know, we're making an assumption here that they'll live to age 100. Now, this first slide here we're just showing, which of course is liquid assets. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Liquid assets is in essence assets that you can spend. It doesn't include your property unless, of course, you choose to downshift and at a later age and buy a smaller property. What we can also do is to show cash flow. And what this is showing in this particular case is that these folks have cash flow that gets them through to 99 for the elder person. There's also the large spike, the large blue spike here in the middle is downshifting of property. So what this software, as you know, and I'm not trying to teach you how to suck eggs again this morning, Amyr, but what this software allows us to do is to build scenarios. And it might be scenario A, which is everything goes well. Scenario B, well, what happens if? What happens if we do that? And some of the ifs might be, let's trial gifting some assets into a trust or gifting some things to your children. Or what happens if nursing care is required? And so what we need to do is to build flexibility. And this software allows us to have different scenarios. And each and every year we refer back to this software. And we then add 1 year of actual life and one less year of simulation. And what that allows us to do is to make small tweaks along the way to a financial plan to make sure it's secure and robust.
Absolutely. And again, for viewers that are looking at this and thinking, I'm not quite sure what this graph means. Well, look, this is, for starters, a demonstration, right? So it isn't particular to any of the viewers that are watching this. But what we're trying to demonstrate to clients, both visually and numerically, because we're just only too conscious that some people are more visual, some people are more numerically minded. Well, we demonstrate their financial plan to them in both ways. So the first thing we want to show you is the graph you're seeing there. It's effectively showing you every vertical bar that you're looking at there is a calendar year. So we can see here that the financial plan starts when these demonstration clients are 63 and 61 respectively. And it rolls all the way up until the eldest client's 100th birthday, as you said, Simon. And every single one of those vertical bars is what we expect, or what the client expects their expenditure to be. And look, it's a starter for 10. So it might be that it's just their expenditure today times inflation all the way up until age 100. And that's fine. We need to start somewhere. And then it's taking into account, as you well said there, Simon, some of those life events that they're expecting that are coming up. So these spikes that the viewers can see on the screen, there's a spike there at age 64. There's another spike there at age 83. Again, for the purposes of a demonstration, we're just showing people how dynamic our system, our financial planning system is, to really take into account those expected expenditures that might be different to what their normal expected expenditure might be. And then looking at what the effect of that is on the sustainability of their financial plan. And again, as you said, Simon, we see some red in the plan there right towards the end. And effectively what we're saying to clients is, look, under our fairly conservative assumptions and under the lifestyle conditions that you've told us you would like to have, it seems like you run out of liquid assets, you run out of places from where to withdraw money from in your late 90s. And for the viewers, really what Simon and I do at this stage is to ask the client, how does that feel? We're not judge and jury. For some clients, this might be fine. They might be completely happy with having no liquid assets left at this point in their life. Some other clients might feel, hey, Amyr, hey, Simon, what is it that I could do to ensure that I have money all the way up until my age 100 and beyond? Because actually what's important to me is to leave a legacy to my children or to my grandchildren.
Yes.
These are the financial planning conversations that we have. And the viewers will notice that so far, Simon and I have not talked about a magical investment fund of any sort, because unfortunately, guys and girls, that doesn't exist. The funds, the investments are there solely to power this financial plan, this matching your money to the lifestyle that you want to have.
Absolutely. And the bedrock to your future financial planning is a financial plan. It's not coming into and getting out of the market and trying to second guess the market. Now, I'll stop sharing that just for a moment, but I think we can probably exit as we came in, which is trying to guess what the market may do in future is a fool's errand. It's been proven time and time again that actually it's time in the market, not timing the market.
That's it, absolutely. And chasing performance is, as you said there, Simon, it's just a fruitless exercise, because what it creates anxiety, creates frustration. And look, there is no academic evidence that has shown us that anybody has been able to do it, or at least not consistently and over the long term, which are really important words, given what we've just shown the viewers there. It's a long time in retirement that we need to plan for. So instead of chasing financial returns per se, why not chase good financial outcomes? And good financial outcomes, yes, part of that is having good returns, but good financial outcomes are really getting your money to fund this lifestyle that you've worked your whole life to achieve. We're here to help you build a plan so that we can show you how your money can help you fund that lifestyle now that you're getting closer to what could be your golden years, as they say.
I couldn't agree more. Consistent long-term returns, net of all charges, not shooting the lights out 1 year and sinking without trace the next.
Absolutely, Simon.
I think on that note, I'll wish you a happy day, and I hope it's productive and good talking to you, Amyr.
Same to you, same to you, Simon. Thank you, and thanks for the viewers for watching this fireside chat.
Lovely. Catch you later. Bye now.